Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Today I want to talk a little bit about classical music. As a child from age about 10 to age about 13, 14, I used to perform classical music professionally. People would pay me to sing. People would pay me to come to their various events. Usually I was with a choir. Sometimes I was just together with 3 or 4 people. It varied in terms of like the general numbers. A lot of the stuff was weddings. Some of the stuff was like in launches of various buildings. Some in front of famous pieces of art. I mean, it was all intended to be relatively highbrow stuff. But I've recently gone back and started to listen to the music that I performed because my life at age 10 through to 13 just seems a world away. It seems like a forgotten memory, something which really can only appear in dream sequences now because it feels that distant from where I am currently. And in listening to this music, I realized that a lot of it was very religiously heavy. It was very much defined in the kind of 16th through to 18th century definition of the church. And it was very curious to me to think the amount of time that I actually spent singing these lyrics in these environments. And although I performed some Britten and some, other various composers that weren't all completely, geez, you joy of man's desiring, there was still a large component that was exclusively what I would call worship music in the contemporary context. And it seemed really strange to me going back and listening to this thing because it required me to address aspects of my childhood that I don't really talk about currently. The whole nature that the society that I was in was basically a pressuring and an instigatory factor, and it was impossible for me to have an independent voice in this environment. I did use these musical groups occasionally for my own composition. I did occasionally go away on camps, composition camps, and spend an inordinate amount of time writing music. But a lot of this time was really about the state as a pervasive force over the top of me, getting me to sing this historical music. And the thing about the music was that it was intelligible in a context of musical beauty at the time as well. But now I go back and listen to it, it really kind of smacks me in the face associated with the fact that this was just raw propaganda that I was being a party to through my particular existence in this particular place and this particular time. And I'm thinking, is this now just because I'm becoming a middle-aged savage? Is it just because I have spent so much time outside this broader society that I don't see the benefit that I once did in this choral music? Or is it perhaps something that is becoming more and more prevalent as people look back even 30 years and realize that the world was just a completely different time then, completely different place? And I think probably there are still people that participate in these kind of things to this day. I think there's still probably some kind of force, some kind of faction probably associated with wealthy private schools, where I'm from in Australia, that still maintain these kind of practices. But for me now, looking back on this thing, it all seems very surreal. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.